Why, hello everyone. It is Dr. Danielle Clark with Onwards with Dr. Danielle on the Win-Win Women Network. We are live. Today is Friday. It is 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No worries at all if you're not here with us live. You're catching the recording, and that's beautiful as well. It's the same great information and the same great energy. Today's episode 3, is all about how to connect with your loved ones in spirit. So if you've been feeling stuck, right, and you're like, man, I wish mom was here to talk to, or, oh, I wish Uncle Bob was here. They are, and they want to talk to you and they want to connect. And as a psychic medium, I'm here to give you some of that peace, give you some of the information and ways in which you can deepen your connection with your loved ones. Take a second to get cozy. Make sure you have your pen and paper. I'm going to give you lots of sparks and things to consider. And yeah, we will have a fantastic chat. Please stay after this discussion. This half hour is going to be dedicated on giving you information, perspective, and tangibles on how to connect with your loved ones in spirit. And then the next half hour, if you're here with us live, is going to be focused on you. I'm here for live psychic readings. I am here for live mediumship connections. I'm here for live Q&A. And again, no worries if you're watching the recording, just make sure you catch me live if and when you can on Win-Win Women Network. You can go to my website, drdanielleclark.com, and you'll see there is an Onwards tab. I have Onwards the blog, and I am inviting you now to join. Usually about twice a month, you'll get a personal story from me, an affirmation, a writing prompt, all focused on breaking judgment habits, tapping into your intuition, and just getting you to be a higher version of yourself. And please follow me on social. I'd love to connect. I'd love to continue to be in your energy. Okay, great. I hope you're feeling settled. So the first thing, I just really can't stress this enough. Your loved ones are with you. As a psychic medium, I have been honored to connect with thousands of those that have departed on the other side. And they're always well. They're always eager to come through and give messages of advice and hope and love. So if you're like, yikes, I don't know if they're out there, I don't know if they're okay, let me just tell you from my personal and professional experience, they're out there and they're okay. But sometimes it's hard for us to connect. And I'll tell you, even myself as a psychic medium, I can connect with your loved one, easy peasy. But connecting with my dad, as an example, sometimes is tricky because even I doubt myself. Is that my imagination? Is that really him? Did I just create this? Did I just think this? And so one of the first steps that we need to do to be able to connect with our loved ones in spirit is to try to quiet that critical mind of ours. We want perfection. We want to know things 100%. And in bridging the two worlds and connecting to the two worlds, it's subtle. Sometimes there isn't this guarantee. That's where we need to open our heart and we need to trust. I was running a mediumship development workshop a few weeks ago, and I was telling my students, those training to be mediums, and anybody can be a medium, including you. You don't need to be a medium to be able to connect to the other side. We all have those powers and gifts. But I was working with these mediums, and I was telling them that feeling the energy from the other side is subtle. So, when you go into a coffee shop and you smell the coffee bean, you smell the aroma, like it's there, poof, right in front of you. Well, it's not always that way when we're working with spirit. Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's smelling like the equivalent of one coffee bean as opposed to actually going into the shop. So sometimes it's really slow. Sometimes it's really soft. So it's important that we calibrate ourselves, get ourselves ready to receive information from the other side. So how can we do that? Well, one thing I always talk about is keeping ourselves healthy, mind, body, and soul. It has so many benefits, including being able to connect to the other side. So when connecting with the departed, the way I like to think of it is this. They vibe higher than us. They're vibrating higher, and we vibrate at a lower speed because we're in this 3D human world. And so for them to communicate with us, they need to come down a little bit and we need to come up a little bit to meet them in the middle for effective communication. So for us to vibe a little bit higher, healthy mind, body, soul. If we're having a bad day, before we try to connect to the other side, we need to cleanse that bad energy off of us. Maybe do a run, maybe do a meditation, maybe sing a song. We really need to make sure that we're working as a clear channel. And so it is important that we don't open ourselves up until we're fully ready to receive. Now, that doesn't mean we shouldn't be praying to our loved ones when we're sad. That doesn't mean we shouldn't be asking for help when we're mad. But it's best if we can almost put our emotions to the side a bit. When I work with my clients, what I typically do to cleanse myself a little bit or reset is I wash my hands very intentfully, very slowly, and I do a quick meditation. I actually picture myself in my mind like hiding away in a corner, in a sense, and that's like the message to my mind, like, okay, like ego Danielle, like you're not needed right now. Go away, all your troubles. Put them away. And then I just get into this dreamlike state, almost like driving a car, when you're driving and you miss the exit. Well, that's a good state for you to kind of get into. Not that you should be connecting with the other side while driving, but just kind of that state where your mind isn't as hyper focused on some of the hard aspects of life. So there's so many things that you can do. So really focus on vibing higher. And rhythms and rituals can be excellent tools, not only to help you be able to get that stamina to like get to a place of calm and coolness faster, but it's also a great way to connect with your loved ones and create some shared energy and some shared, because I would say like familiarity. For an example, if you buy a lavender candle and every night at 9 o'clock you light it and you invite grandma in, it's just a beautiful giving. It's a beautiful ceremony where grandma knows you're inviting her in, and your mind is satisfied because you know that's the time that grandma comes in. So those rituals can really help create some stamina and some awareness. That way, rather than like looking for grandma all day, like the signs from grandma, like, okay, at 9 o'clock, I'm going to open up and I'm going to get my journal out and I'm going to talk to grandma. Now, what I will say though, is everything with balance, right? So let's say you do have this beautiful ritual that you start, and every night at 9 o'clock, you're lighting the lavender the lavender candle, excuse me. And all of a sudden you get these dinner party asks. Go to the dinner party. Grandma's going to go to the dinner party with you. Don't worry about it. Like rituals and rhythms are good, but don't have an over attachment to them either, right? You'll hear a lot of people that say to connect to the departed, they need this one specific crystal, or they need this one specific incense, or this one specific card deck. Nice to have, but no, it's not needed. We can connect with our loved ones at any time with anything or nothing other than our heart open. So keep that in mind. I've mentioned it. Journaling can be really good. It's a nice way to keep ourselves active and to also kind of shut down our mind. So if you want messages from grandma, you might just say, Grandma, I'm really worried about my son's health, or I'm really worried about the job, the job opportunity. Am I going to get it? Is there anything I need to know? Should I take it? And then maybe even consider closing your eyes, or just drifting, looking at the wall and journaling. Some of that actually might come out as channeled writing or automatic writing, where it's not fully coming from you. Your loved one can come in and give you love and give you some ideas and perspective through you. So my experience working with spirit and those in heaven is they work with our nervous system, right? And so they work to give us messages through our sixth sense, if you're familiar with that term. And let me give you a few more terms. So one way they work with us is what's called clairvoyance. And clairvoyance is clear seeing, but usually not the seeing that we think of. So someone in spirit has the power to give us a way to almost see something in our third eye. So let's say I say right now, picture a banana split. Oh, doesn't that sound good? Picture a banana split with a cherry on top and lots of rainbow sprinkles. Do you see how you can see that, right? Like you're not really seeing it. It's not really there, although that would be super cool. But you're seeing it in your third eye. So our loved ones in spirit will sometimes give us a flash. They'll give us a picture, maybe of themselves, or maybe of a shared memory of the two of you, or maybe even like an image of something you should consider. Again, maybe that job, right? Maybe you all of a sudden see someone that indicates, okay, that's my future boss. So be aware when you see something through your third eye, and that is called clairvoyance. And you can do some studying on that. There's excellent books and workshops out there to get your clairvoyance stronger. Other ways that our loved ones in spirit talk to us is clairaudience. So that's clear hearing, right? A good example, let's say out of nowhere, out of the blue, all of a sudden dad's favorite song comes on in your mind, not on the radio, not on the TV, although those are excellent signs that they can send us too, but just in your ear, right? Where you just hear it out of nowhere. Well, that's them. They're inputting that. So all of a sudden, you know they're there. So trust that it is a thing. It's not you imagining it or you creating it. Sometimes our imagination does that, but oftentimes, especially if we're not focused on the person at hand and those things start happening, it's their ways of saying like, hey, I'm here, I did that, I put that there. And when you get those signs, whether it's that clear seeing or that clairaudience, just tell them like, hey, I hear you, I see you, like, thank you, I want more, I'm paying attention, and I'll let them know that you're getting the signal and that you want more. So other ways that they work with us is clairsentience. And we're all different. So you might have really awesome clairaudience skills, the hearing, but maybe your clairsentience, your clear feeling isn't as strong. And so that's important too in meditation and journaling and those rituals that you create with your loved ones in spirit. It's important to lean in, like, how do they talk to me best? What do I experience, right? So clairsentience is feeling. When my dad passed away, for an example, I clearly felt him. I could feel him right on the side of my cheek. He was always there. It was warm. It was almost like sparkly. He was always near my shoulder. I could feel him. And today when I work with clients, it's the same. They'll come in close to me and I can feel them. So just be aware of what you're feeling. And then there's others too. There's the act of clear smelling, clear tasting, clear knowing, also known as clairalience, clear gustus, and clear cognizant. I can't talk today. And so those clairs, as they're known in the metaphysical, world, are the way that the spirit will talk to us. So it's our sixth sense. And another great way to lean into how you get messages from your loved one, maybe just go to the park one day and just be like, Dad, brother, like, I'm just going to sit here for a few minutes. Talk to me in the way way that feels best to you. And what's nice about a park is like you're getting other stimuli, you're getting other almost distractions in a perfect way, right? Like, see if you deeply hear something, see if you hear or smell something out of the ordinary that doesn't really go with the park, if that makes sense. Now, beyond that, our loved ones in spirit will also send us signs and synchronicities, and they have the ability to move and maneuver energy outside of ourselves as well. So for an example, maybe you are at a park and a cardinal catches your eye, and you and your brother used to play on the baseball team, the Cardinals, together, right? And you see the cardinal and he locks eyes with you and he just cocks his head slightly and just gazes at you in a way that it just really sticks out to you. Well, that's your brother. They have the ability to move energies and maneuver energies a bit, just like they do with us with the clairs, to let us know they're there. And again, the toughest thing about receiving those signals is not doubting it, right? Like, oh, well, that was just a coincidence. Well, perhaps, but perhaps not. And that's where journaling can come in too, right? It's like, okay, maybe the cardinal and the head eye contact was a coincidence, but journal every time a bird catches your eye in that kind of a way, and you might be shocked to realize it happened 5 times in the last 2 months, right? So what does that mean to you? Maybe that's not as big of a coincidence. And then it's important when you're trying to figure out like the signs and synchronicities, like, well, what are they trying to say? And I don't know how to interpret them. Don't stress out. So many clients come to me and they're like, well, I'm seeing the signs, I'm seeing the angel numbers, I'm seeing the words, I'm seeing this, I found the penny, I found the feather, but I don't know what they're saying. I do. Their messages are usually always the same. It's something like, I'm okay, I'm happy, I'm with you, I love you. There's always a message when needed of I'm sorry or I forgive you. Like they are high vibing. They have let go of the stress and the hurt and the pain of this world, and just know that. While they're very much still your people, they've also done some shedding and they've also done some healing. So you don't need to hyper focus on what are they trying to tell me, but journaling can help, right? Because if you do ask like, brother, like, tell me, should I take that job? I've got some good vibes about it, but I've got some hesitancy. And then if you see a few things that catch your eye, a license plate here, a penny there, just think about and journal, like, what were you thinking about beforehand? What were you thinking about after? How does it connect? But I assure you, if they want to get your attention and if something is truly needed for you, they're going to keep sending you messages. So don't worry about missing the message or misinterpreting it. The best thing to do, turn off your mind a little bit and just lean in with your heart. All right, I'm going to go to my notes. Keep me honest here. Make sure I'm covering everything I wanted to. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, and so what I also wanted to talk about is when connecting with our loved ones in spirit, because we're opening ourselves up, it's important that once we're done connecting with them, not that we're done, they're always with us, they're always spending time with us, but we also want to ground ourselves a bit. We don't always want to be like over open to the other world. We need to be here, and sometimes keeping our heart or our spiritual senses a little too open can cause all sorts of stuff. Maybe it does cause us to doubt the signs we're getting from the other world. Maybe it causes us to get lightheaded. There's so many different things that can happen. So as an example, if you set that special time with grandma at night, just like I told you, I have some rituals before I open up to the departed. You also want to consider closing down. And that's really helpful too, because you'll then start to feel and experience the difference between I'm here, Danielle, or whatever your name is, in the 3D world versus, oh, I felt myself get higher. I felt myself see a few things, or I experienced this differently, right? So what do I do after I close down a conversation, whether it's with my dad in heaven or others when I'm working on behalf of a client? Same thing. Oftentimes I'll just kind of go wash my hands to reset and ground myself. Sometimes I'll actually put my feet like on the ground and do almost like a grounding meditation. Like I'm here on earth. I feel my feet planted on the ground. I have some sage clearing spray, which sounds really good right now. And so I'll use some of that just to kind of like clear out the energy. I might blow out the candle. So just think about that too, because I think that's going to give you some confidence, because I hear from people all the time, well, I don't know if I'm getting the message. I don't know if they're hearing me. And I think you're going to feel it more if you have a little opening ritual with your loved one and then a closed one as well. You're always welcome to book an appointment with me at drdanielleclark.com. I do see private clients one-on-one, and it would be an honor to connect with your loved one in spirit. And sometimes that can help to deepen your connection with your loved one, because I can play interpreter for that session. I can ask them, well, what signs are you sending? So that way you know to keep a bigger eye out for them. And I can ask them like, okay, give me some examples of times you've been with Jen lately, right? That way you can kind of go back in your mind and be like, oh, I thought my brother was at the birthday party. I thought I felt him, but then I, told myself that it wasn't true. So consider that too. Working with a medium, again, you don't need us, but it can be really helpful, especially if you use that as an opportunity to understand how they're communicating. So a few other things that I want to go through as it relates to your loved ones in spirit. I really want to make sure also that you know that you can create the language with them. There's a lot on the internet, and it can be really confusing, right? Where, you'll type in, what does a red cardinal mean, right? And, one website says it means love. One website, means it's your, grieving loved one directly. But sometimes a cardinal, in the example I gave you before, can mean baseball team, right? And you know what that means. So feel free to create a little bit more of your own language with your people too. You might have an inside joke about pickles, for an example, right? And so if you Google spiritual meaning for pickles, let's say you saw a random pickle on a hike, right? And you're like, that's a sign. Well, what does that mean? And you Google it, and the spiritual reason that you see a pickle is to tell you financial abundance is coming. Well, great, but it might just be your silly sister leaving you a pickle because that was the joke, right? So it really is important for you to know that, yes, working with spirit, there's absolutely some science involved, but it's also an art, and it's very creative. And you can ask them for signs, right? Be like, hey, like I really want to see you and experience you more. I'm going to be hiking lately. If you can send me something special on the trail, I'd really appreciate it. Don't be shy, and that'll help you understand, the way to connect with your loved one too. So I know this was a lot. I'm gonna close my eyes and just send all of your grief and all of your, how do I word it? All of your curiosity and hope, love. Just invite you to close your eyes too. Take a few breaths just to honor the information that was passed to you today. Maybe make a commitment that you're going to try something new as it relates to the information you received today. And we'll just stay here for another moment. Beautiful, beautiful. And so as we close, I just want to give you a few additional grieving and living lessons Spirit has taught me in my line of work. I've mentioned it a few times, but I'll get a little bit more direct here. Get out of your head. They want us in our heart more. Connect with your loved ones through your heart, not your mind. They don't want us carrying the regrets, the should haves, the would haves, the I didn't mean to. It doesn't help the vibe. It doesn't help the connection. We don't need to worry about the tangible things as much. Letting go, not attaching ourselves to so many things can really help us deepen our connection to our loved ones in spirit. Bad and good and right and wrong doesn't exist where they are. They wish that we'd let those concepts go. And even though they're delighted that we want to connect with them and honor them, they also really want us staying in the moment. So if you find yourself over thinking of the past or over missing them, just know that that's not what they want. And to connect truly and beautifully, they just want us living in the now. And it can just be a quick flick, it can be a kiss, whatever happens, and how we want to show them that we love them. That's all they care about. What they really want us to do is honor our life. That is the best way that we can connect with them. If we're doing what we love, vibing with them and feeling with them comes so much easier. So think about them, let it go. Send them a kiss, let it go. We don't need to grip. That's not going to be the way to connect with them. All right, my dears, we're going to get to a close. I'm really excited to let you know next episode, episode 4, is all about a dark night of the soul. And if you are not familiar with the term a dark night of the soul, it is when life as we knew it disappears. It's usually sparked by the loss of something, a loss of a person, a loss of a job. It's really when our ego is being stripped, like our identity is being questioned, and we're looking at ourselves in our world with fresh eyes. And hence the name Dark Night of the Soul. It is scary and it is deep. Sometimes we don't know where we're going. Oftentimes we feel like we need to isolate. We don't feel like ourselves. We don't feel connected to others. This is a personal experience to me. I went through the dark night of the soul a few years ago. Since I've done a lot of research on it, I've written a memoir on it. And it's an important concept because not enough people understand how sacred a dark night of the soul can be. And even though that, yes, it's dark, it can bring immense light and healing and love. And so it's really important. If you're in a dark night, you're definitely going to want to check out the show. But even if you're not, you're going to want to stay with us, because who knows, maybe you'll find yourself in a dark night in a few months or in a few years, and having that understanding of what it is important. And also, maybe there's somebody in your community, maybe it's your partner or your friend or somebody at work that is going through this grieving process, but you don't quite understand it because maybe it isn't directly related to a grief that you understand, like the loss of a pet or a loss of a loved one. Understanding the dark night of the soul can help too. So look forward to that. We are going to be meeting next week, Friday, at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live, 1 p.m. Pacific live. Thank you for tuning in today. I really appreciate you. I'm so excited for you to gain a deeper connection with your loved ones in spirit. I hope you saw my earrings, my dear. I wore these today for you. They're with us always. And again, if I can connect or be of service in any kind of way, it would be my honor. You can find me at drdanielleclark.com. And just remember, it is the cracks in your heart that let the light shine through. I will see you on Win-Win Women Network next Friday. For those of you who are here live, I'm very excited to spend more time with you. Hang tight. We're going to do live mediumship connections, psychic readings, and Q&A. Bye, everyone.